Among the pitches and the recruiting visits, you can come here, you can be a quarterback.
You can be a quarterback. Come here and live your dream.
I think the proof is in the pudding. I just went out there and threw a touchdown pass.
Tretola left is the play that has made Arkansas's 350-pound left guard, Sebastian Tretola, the big man on campus.
I saw him throw one day, and I was kind of like, oh, do that again. Let me run her out. And Coach B was watching, and he's like, Sebastian, you do that again?
I do this for my wife about 1 o'clock the night before. I come home from work late, and one of our agreements is I show her trick plays. She was looking for a piece of paper to write something down, and all she found was my play. She wrote ice on it, got the ice, and threw it away.
A couple days later, he calls me in his office and has Tretola left drawn up on a piece of paper, and my mind was blown.
So the play was created for him?
Absolutely, 100%. There isn't any other lineman that I'm knowing that can throw that ball. When
I first saw it in practice, I thought, there's no way this is going to work.
But this is a little bit of the beginning. This is the orphan stages of what the play eventually became.
With just over 9 minutes left in the first half against UAB, the Razorbacks failed to convert on 3rd and goal. That's when Tretola left went from paper to playbook.
He goes, we're going to run Tretola left. And I kind of got big-eyed. I was like, oh, my God, he's serious. This is about to happen. And he kind of, like, chuckles. He's like, you want to take your gloves off?
I didn't even get told it was getting called. And I kind of saw him shifting back and caught it, started rolling out. And I think he realized that people were actually going to chase him this time.
As I start to drop back, it seems like he is taking forever to get off of the block. And I'm just watching D up like, oh, my God, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. So I'm just, I'm keep dropping back. Finally, I see him shed it, and as soon as he sheds that D in and turns around, I just let it go.
And they will snap it. Oh, my goodness. Is that Tretola going to throw it back? Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Arkansas. That is unreal.
I was a little nervous he'd thrown it too high. He threw a great spiral. He made it easy for me.
As I start standing up, I start hearing the crowd like roaring, and I'm like, I just scored a touchdown.
In football, you live in the moment. It is another great indication of the personality of this team and what we got going.
You're the fat guy that threw the touchdown. So literally, it's everybody. Great touchdown, and it's handshakes and high fives, and it was great.
As Brett Bielema said in his halftime interview of that game, come to Arkansas. If you're a lineman, we will make you famous. Now, that was a carefully planned, well-executed recruiting pitch, if I have ever heard one. But his coach told me he knows they have a daunting task ahead playing #1 Mississippi State. And yet, for all the heartbreak his team has endured this season, holding on to fun moments like Tretola left says something really special for this team's energy. Now, Coach Mullen was not about to let Bielema and his O-lineman steal the spotlight this week, so he made note that his 6'7", 315-pound lineman Blaine Clausell has a hose. He said he's thrown the ball as far as 75 yards in practice recently.
He said if they have a Hail Mary situation, he's actually going to let him rip one downfield there. By the way, Tretola's a big guy. His personality is even bigger. He was
the
great.
fact that he threw it to the long snapper, to me, you loved it. What? Everything about that, I loved it, man.
Well,
long snappers are people too.
Timmy and I know.
Cole is not putting a lineman over Dak Prescott if he needs a Hail Mary to win the game.
Come on. Timmy and I know that there are big men that can throw the ball. Oh, can he throw the ball? Yesterday we sent the crew out with Marcus. I haven't seen the video yet, but this is Marcus, Timmy. Oh. Going right for that upright from the 30-yard line. Oh, yeah, accuracy too.
You got to love the celebration.
Can spin a little bit. I mean, he can spin
I love this celebration. Yeah, when we were at Auburn, we were throwing it around.
Oh, flick of the wrist.
That was when we got to see your hands.
That wasn't good at all. We don't need to talk about that. So Dan Mullen's getting ready now for Brett Bielema and Arkansas. He caught up with Shannon State.
Coach, internally, you guys have acknowledged but not focused on being ranked #1 in the country. But when you look at the external expectations, how do you think you guys have handled it?
I think they've handled it pretty well. I think they're getting a lot of attention when they're out around campus, from when they're going to class, when they're from their friends back home. But they understand when it's time to work, it's time to work, and that we really haven't accomplished all that much. And for us to accomplish our goals, what we want to accomplish, to compete, to try to win the SEC West, we have got to have unbelievable focus on the task at hand, and that task now is Arkansas.
So let's talk about Arkansas. You said today that perception is different than reality when looking at a team who's lost 16 SEC games. Why?
Well, I mean, you watch them. They're a very, very physical team, a lot of talent out there on the field. And, you know, they've put themselves in position to win a lot of games. They just haven't taken that final step to get that win, which is not easy to do in this league. I mean, there's so many talented teams and top teams here in the league. But they have a lot of talent, very physical team, play really well on defense, play really well on offense with playmakers. And I think it's certainly going to be a huge challenge for our guys today.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you, Shannon. Of course, that game will be on ESPN2 tonight. Shannon will be part of the broadcast team at 7:15. Listen, Arkansas is big up front, right? Mississippi State's defensive line, and they rotate them in 1A and 1B. They are huge. Marcus, that run defense matches up here.
I love the matchup because I think Mississippi State's strongest suit to their football team is the front seven. And these guys defend plays like you're supposed to defend plays, downhill and rough. And I think Arkansas has made their niche on being able to run and physically dominate opponents and garner up a lot of rush yards. With Mississippi State's defensive front, and not only just the front, the ability to rotate and keep guys fresh and continue to defend the run for 4 quarters of the game could spell problems for Arkansas.
Marcus, I completely agree with you that one of the best things Mississippi State does defensively is stop the run. But also a key for Arkansas is that they wear people down with that big offensive line, fullbacks, multiple tight ends, and big running backs. But what Mississippi State has is depth. Last week they played 25 guys on defense. 25 guys just on defense. That is really impressive, and that is going to really help them in the 3rd and 4th quarter this week.
Absolutely.
Paul, at what point does Arkansas's Brett Bielema need to get one of these wins?
Tonight would really be nice.
It would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's running out of opportunities this year, and I think it would be very difficult for him, as popular as he is, as much energy as this program has, to go 0 for the SEC 2 consecutive years. Tonight, it's a puncher's chance. A little better shot later in the season.
Still feel like it's coming, though, Marcus. I mean, they're right there.
You have to, and we've talked about them being able to make those plays at the end of ball games in order to secure victory. I think we keep talking about, just like you alluded to with Florida, at some point we're going to have to say Arkansas needs to win or something needs to change. And I think what's happening with Coach B right now is that he's trying to get this team to a point where they're down at the end of those games and finding somebody or some way to win a football game in the 4th quarter.
Well, I mean, that point for change, that's not even close right now. I think they're going in the right direction. And you also have to look at 5 teams in the top 10. 5 teams that they played in the top 10. That means one of those teams, you know, has to drop for Arkansas to move up. They're playing against great competition, and they're rising to those other teams' levels. And eventually, all this talent, they will get a big win. But it's also important that we have to understand they have to learn how to win. A team doesn't just rally together and say, oh, we're a great team, we know how to win. No, you learn how to win together, and once they do that, they will knock off a team.